the audience just wouldn't let us go. They just wanted more and more and more, and in the end we just exhausted everything that any of us knew individually.
A quiet London night. The amplifiers that once shook continents now sit silent. The guitars, battle-scarred and legendary, rest like old warriors asleep after decades of war. Jimmy Page sits alone in his home, surrounded by memories that never truly sleep. The chaos, the genius, the darkness, the nights when Led Zeppelin felt unstoppable, and the nights when fame nearly destroyed them. As he reflects on everything, the crowds, the scandals, the magic, the heartbreak, Jimmy Page realizes a truth he has never spoken aloud. There were 5 bands he believed stood above even Led Zeppelin. Not because Zeppelin wasn't great, but because these bands rewired the universe before he and Zeppelin ever stepped onto the throne. He closes his eyes, and the first giant that rises from his memory isn't thunder, it's light. Number 1. The Beatles, the band that created the world. Before Zeppelin, before the stadiums, before the myths, there were the Beatles. They didn't just dominate music. They rebuilt human culture from the ground up. Jimmy remembers the early 60s, standing in London studios, watching 4 kids from Liverpool unleash a revolution. They made rock intimate, poetic, theatrical, rebellious, sometimes all in one song. Airports turned into riots. Crowds became oceans. Beatlemania felt less like fandom and more like a global religious awakening. And suddenly, every musician, including Page, had to evolve. Their perfection forced him to chase bigger ideas, deeper sound, darker texture. To survive in their world, Led Zeppelin had to become mythic, not just successful. But after the Beatles reshaped the landscape, another beast ruled the streets. Number 2. The Rolling Stones, the kings of sin and chaos. The Stones weren't just rebellious, they weaponized rebellion. They were the danger your parents warned you about, wrapped in velvet swagger and cigarette smoke. Mick Jagger commanding the stage like a man bulletproof to consequences. Keith Richards moving through life as if death itself couldn't get past his grin. They soaked rock in lust, ego, hunger, and electricity. Jimmy admired their fearlessness. Where some bands wanted to be loved, the Stones wanted to be feared. And then came Altamont. A free concert. Hell's Angels as security. A rising tension thick enough to choke on. And then, blood. That night shattered the dream of the 60s. Peace died. Rock suddenly had a dark mirror. Jimmy watched it all unfold and understood. Danger sells faster than purity ever could. And Led Zeppelin eventually used that danger like fire in their hands. But where the Stones ruled the dirt and the flesh, the next band ruled the mind. Number 3. Pink Floyd, architects of the human psyche. Pink Floyd didn't attack the world, they dissolved it. Their music seeped under the skin like a dream you aren't sure you should be having. Jimmy remembers discovering interstellar overdrive in a shadowed studio corner. Time stretching, walls breathing, reality bending in slow motion waves. Syd Barrett's Fragile Genius cracked the sky open. It was beautiful. It was terrifying. It was a warning. Pink Floyd taught Page that music wasn't just sound. It was architecture inside the brain. They didn't paint landscapes with riffs. They did it with silence, echo, paranoia, and emotion. Floyd showed Page what would soon haunt Zeppelin too. Brilliance mixed with pressure can break a man. And when the dreamlike Floyd haze faded, another kind of power slammed into his memory. Not cosmic, explosive. Number 4. The Who. The original rock detonators. The Who didn't perform shows. They declared war. Pete Townsend smashing guitars like an ancient ritual. Keith Moon pounding drums as if outrunning his own demons. Roger Daltrey swinging his mic like a weapon in a battlefield. Jimmy saw them turn stages into battlegrounds long before Zeppelin faced their first stadium. The Who taught him that volume wasn't enough. Impact was the weapon. Music had to be felt, in the stomach, in the bones, in the soul. They weren't beauty. They were catharsis. Their chaos pushed Page to imagine something even bigger, a fusion of destruction, magic, and power. But the final band on his secret list wasn't born from chaos. It was born from pure cosmic fire. Number 5. The Jimi Hendrix Experience. The God who rewrote reality. Before Led Zeppelin owned the world, Hendrix already owned the universe. The first time Page saw Jimi, he felt the earth split beneath him. Jimi didn't play guitar. He summoned it. He bent time. He bent physics. He bent the emotions of every person in the room. Distortion became emotion. Feedback became language. The guitar stopped being wood and strings. It became a living organism. Every guitarist felt the fear and the inspiration. Jimi wasn't just better. He was from another dimension. He lived fast, too fast for this world. Drugs, exhaustion, pressure. They surrounded him like storm clouds closing in. By the time Zeppelin began leveling stadiums, Hendrix was already fading. And then, gone. At just 27. But his influence didn't fade. It detonated across every generation that followed. Jimi didn't conquer the charts. He conquered dimensions. The truth Jimmy Page learned as Jimmy Page sits alone in that quiet London room. His confession is not surrender. It's perspective. The Beatles shaped the world. The Stones corrupted it. Pink Floyd questioned it. The Who shattered it, and Hendrix transcended it. Led Zeppelin didn't rise in a vacuum. They rose from the fire lit by these giants. Every era of rock was a chapter, and Zeppelin was one of the most powerful. But not the first, and not the last. Rock was a chain reaction. Each band lighting the next fuse. Page finally understands. Greatness is never about standing alone. Greatness is knowing who forged the path before you, and carrying the torch into the darkest nights. Because as long as the world keeps listening, the echoes of these giants, and the echo of Led Zeppelin, will never fade. If you enjoyed this deep dive into rock history, hit like, subscribe, and keep the music alive. This is Rock Fame Diaries, where legends never die.